Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Community Builders Show. We're really glad to have you on board today. My name's Nurse Phil, founder of Support Worker Hub, and this show puts together really cool people from around our community to help with NDIS people to increase their capacity and also get community access. And today I've found this person on Instagram and had a look at what they're doing. And this is something dear to my heart because I'm a cricket lover, cricket tragic, as you know, and I'm actually speaking to another cricket tragic. So I'll let her introduce herself and tell you all of her fabulous things. So welcome, Kaz. Thank you very much for coming on. Woohoo! So
Yay,
tell us a
thank
bit
you.
about yourself and why did I get you on this show?
Right. Well, a little bit about me. My name's Kaz Willis. I am the mum of a beautiful, beautiful teenage boy. Mind you, saying teenage and boy and beautiful in the same sentence, it's not
It's
always that
hard.
beautiful.
Yes.
Who is on the spectrum. And he loves his cricket. He has found his tribe, if you like. All of our family are cricket tragics. I used to go to the cricket with my granddad when I was like 6 in Canberra down to Manuka Oval and watch test matches. So we've always had an affinity with cricket, and we've been very privileged to be part of the Valley District Cricket Club at Ashgrove. So I've been volunteering there in the junior space cricket blast programs for about, 12 years now.
Yeah.
And I literally had a conversation with a mum about 5 years ago when one of her sons was participating in a cricket blast program, but she also had another younger son who was nonverbal, neurodiverse, and she said, I wish that he could play too because he just loves it so much.
Yeah.
And literally that's where it all began.
That's amazing. And that's where I saw what you were doing with the All Abilities Cricket. So how did you go from having that talk and going, oh, this sounds like a good idea? And how did you go from that to starting your program?
Well, yes, it took about 12 months. So when I had that initial conversation, I did actually think to myself, and I was kind of berating myself a little bit because having a child on the spectrum, I never really thought of cricket as being a sport that neurodiverse or athletes with an intellectual disability could potentially participate in because I don't know. I thought, maybe soccer and football, but it never actually occurred to me. So when this lady mentioned it, I thought, wow, there's got to be something that we can do. So our junior director of coaching at Valleys is a wonderful chap called Clinton. We all call him George, and he had 30 plus
George.
years experience in special needs teaching. So I had a chat to him one day and just said, how do you reckon we could do this? Do you think we could? And he said, Kaz, anything's possible. So we had a number of sit downs over coffee and sort of thought, well, how do we go about it? Where do we get the knowledge to be able to actually do this? And it was by a very chance introduction that I met a lady called Kim Lawley from Special Olympics. Now,
Oh,
Special
wow.
Olympics run a whole raft of sporting programs for children and young adults with an intellectual disability. So Kim and I then went off and had a number of coffees. Anyway, cut a long story short, 12 months later-ish, Valleys became the first cricket club to be an affiliate with Special Olympics Queensland, and we had drawn up our program. So the program itself is not, it is structured, but it's not super structured because we always try to adapt to what the children want to do. But on a typical afternoon, we set up 3 or 4 skills activities. And then at the end, we'll have a game. scenario, which runs for about 10 minutes. So in that hour, the children can get to participate in all of the skills, or some of them might really just love one of the skills. So we're very, very flexible in terms of how they use the time to participate in cricket. So we devised the program, and then I think what's probably been
who helped you devise the program? Like, how did you work out what skills worked best to keep them engaged?
Yes, well, it's been a bit of I guess over the past 4 years, it's been a bit of trial and error. So our first year, we thought, you know, we had it all worked out. But of course, then when it comes to actually running something, you go, oh, okay, well, that didn't work, and we can improve this, and we can, you know, ensure that we've always got enough volunteers and helpers, or ball retrievers, as I call them. So it was lived experience through years 1 and 2, where we're now at the point where it flows very smoothly. But really, it was Special Olympics. It was combined knowledge of cricket amongst some of the volunteers from Valleys. And yeah, we didn't really have a lot of external help. I think at the time when the program really got up and running was right after COVID. So Queensland Cricket, while supportive, didn't necessarily have a team in place that could help us run with it. So we really just did it as a club in isolation. Well, and everyone pitched in. Special Olympics ran clinics for us. All of our coaches do the Inclusive Academy training. So all of our, we call them coaches, but they're really, the children get quite attached to them. They're just their mates, right? They're all out there having a bit of fun, showing them how to throw, or some of the more high functioning kids how to bowl. You know, we do rock, release. You might have seen that on Instagram. So really, it's been primarily a club effort, and every member of Valleys has just been so supportive. Like when the kids are down there, they just come over and they say hi, and you know, afterwards they hang around the club for a little while. They get a sausage and bread. They get very excited about that at the end of the afternoon because they're all hungry. But yeah, so really it's just been the club and its volunteers and its members.
That's amazing. That's really good. Now, I did, when we were speaking the other day about this and about All Ability Cricket and what you do, you said you set up a tent. So I want the get the viewers to understand what you've done here with this tent, because I think this is a genius idea.
Yes. So what we do is understanding that neurodiverse children can sometimes get triggered. They might get anxious. You know, as many of the mums out there will probably know, on some days, if you have, and the carers obviously, sometimes a really windy day, the children get a bit
Oh, what's happened? Oh. Are you back?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it sort of froze. I've got 2 of you here now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, there you are. Nah, now we're back. Yes, that's cool. So we'll go from where the windy day.
Okay, so
Yes.
windy days, any number of things can sometimes trigger the children, or they might get a bit anxious. So we actually have a low sensory tent set up on the periphery of where we do the activities. And in there we have a weighted blanket, we have a lava lamp, we have some fidget toys. And if the children do get anxious or just want to go and have some quiet time, they can go into the sensory tent and they can regulate. Many of them can self-regulate, or their carer or parent will jump in there as well. It's a bit squishy. And then when they're ready, they come back in and they join in again. However, in saying that, in coming into our 5th year, we've only ever had 2 instances where we've needed to use that sensory tent, but we obviously have it there for the children should they need it. So yeah.
So it's good. It's good for them to have some place of security if they need it, but they're having so much fun. They're like, they know it's in the background, but they're having so much fun. They're out there catching balls, playing with their mates, and having a good time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But we all let the carers and support workers and parents know that it's there should they need. So yeah, it's just being aware.
It is being aware, and like a lot of cricket clubs wouldn't have that awareness. Like, so that's something that you'd need a professional or someone that understands how to deal with children with different backgrounds and what things you can put in that tent. So what sort of things? You said a weighted blanket. Is there anything else you do in there?
Yeah, so we've got a weighted blanket. We've got a lava lamp because it's quite dark in there. So we have a little lava lamp. They love that. We have some fidget toys. Sometimes if the support worker or mum has an iPad, they'll sit in there with their iPad. But typically, they just go in there for a little bit of quiet time, and then when they feel ready to come back out, they'll come and rejoin the group.
And come and play again. So it's really good. So do you get sponsorship, or how do the parents pay a subscription, or how does it work?
No, we offer the program free of charge. As the mum of a special needs child, it can sometimes be financially difficult to afford everything that you may want to do. And I think, Harrison grew up pre-NDIS, but, it always has its challenges, I think. So we didn't want fees or money to be a barrier to children being able to participate. So what we do is we're literally just finalising our sponsorship proposal for this coming season. We have some wonderful community sponsors. Great Southern Bank is one of them, who look after the Brisbane Heat. We've got Lions International. They were the very first community organisation to sponsor us. So, and we have lots of donations from families who want to support the program. So there's no fee. The program runs for 4 weeks pre and then post Christmas. The children can come to one or all. We understand that life gets in the way, and sometimes kids may just not feel like coming, or they're tired after a week at school. So yeah, literally our sponsors pay for everything that we need, and we're very, very thankful to them.
That is brilliant. That is really good stuff. You're saying about that you do the little drills to start with, and then how do you organise a bit of a game with them? What's that look like?
Okay, so what we do is we usually will break the children into 2 groups, depending on their levels. And at the end, literally, we'll just have, we might have 2 games of cricket going, so the children haven't just got to stand there bored, because most of them won't. So we usually have a couple of games going, and we literally just set up a little mock cricket pitch, and the children will practice their bowling and throwing skills, and the game will probably only go for 5 or 10 minutes at the most. but it's just to ensure that every child then gets to have a bit of a bat, they get to have a bowl to an actual player. And we include, we have a pair of twin boys who both have cerebral palsy. And for them, we usually we'll bring on their wheelchair when it's time for them to bat, but we just modify how we bowl to them. So depending on, we get to know the children and the level they're at. So we just modify how we bowl to them, how we throw back, or how we set them up to bat. So, and that's probably their favourite part, really, because then they're like, you know, they're actually having a proper game of cricket. So
having a game of cricket, and that's what it's about, getting more people into cricket. So
yes,
that
absolutely.
is fantastic. How many players do you have at the moment in there?
Okay, so year one we had 6 children register. Last season we had 58. So we're slowly getting the word out there. That's not to say that all 58 have ever turned up on the one Friday.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for various reasons, you know, they don't typically all rock up at once. But we do, for the children that come along each week, we have very small groups. We don't have more than probably 5 or 6 in a group. And each group will have 2 coaches. And we keep them with the same coach for the whole program. So they build that familiarity with that person. They're not getting a random stranger every week. And it's just lovely to see some of the relationships that, you know, that they formed with those coaches, which is really, really nice, because sometimes you see week one, the children come along and they might be a bit anxious, or they're sticking very closely to mum or their support worker. And then by week 3 and 4, you know, they're out of the car and they're running onto the field. Yeah, see you, mum, bye.
Bye,
you know,
I'm out. Yeah.
I'm out. See you later. Coach Steve is over there, or Coach Cam's over there. I'm off. So it's really, really lovely, you know, from a coordinator's point of view, to see those relationships, and the parents and the support workers, I guess, as an offset of that, have also formed really good friendships.
Yes, because they get to watch and jump in. So you'll have 6 kids, and those coaches will do the drills with them and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So they just take them, so the parents can stand back and go, "Oh my gosh, my child, a bit more independence. They're doing their own thing," and that must be good to see. You know, that must be amazing to see.
It's wonderful, and the feedback that we've had from the parents is just about their increased self-confidence, and they're happy and they're safe and they feel included. I've had more than one photo sent to me of the children asleep in bed with their Valleys training polo on, refusing to take it off, because, you know, they were very excited that they are part of a team. Many of them haven't been part of a team or a club before, so they're quite chuffed about that, which is really lovely. And yeah, we encourage the parents to chill out under the beautiful fig tree. We set up, you know, chairs under there for them. They sit in the shade. They can join in if they want to, but otherwise, you know, they can take that time to recharge themselves, and we look after the children.
That is a very important point, that they can just chill out for a bit and go, righto, my child's getting looked after, I can see them, but they can just decompress for that little time, and so they can restart. You know, that's good that the kids feel like they're part of a team. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, actually. That's true. They'd have had limited opportunity to go, what does a team feel like, and how do I operate in a team environment?
Yeah, and even when we have our little mock game at the end, you know, they'll be cheering one another on, and they're just so chuffed that, you know, people are cheering for them, and it's, you know, it's not just the coaches, it's the other children cheering them on, and they get very you can just see, I mean, it's the highlight of my week. It fills my bucket. I do this on a volunteer part-time basis. I have, you know, my own day job, but it's really such a wonderful way to end the week, because it just brings so many smiles to everybody, really. So yeah,
that is amazing. Now with cricket, we know that the equipment and things costs a lot. So how do you manage equipment like bats, ball, pads, helmets, all those sort of things?
So, well, thankfully we have amazing sponsors. The club also obviously gives us free rein to all of that equipment, but for the Friday afternoon program, we have a lot of sensory equipment. So obviously we have the sensory tent and the items in there, but we find a lot of the children are quite tactile, and some of them may not like the feel of tennis balls, or they might not like the feel of, we don't use leather balls, obviously. They're very, very hard. We use what's called jelly balls. And we even use, Great Southern Bank gave them to the stress balls because they're so soft. So for the littlies, we tend to use those because it doesn't matter how hard they throw them, they're not going to hurt anybody. So safety is paramount with us. So we also have so many sensory balls of every size and texture and colour that you can imagine. And it's quite interesting to see how the children might gravitate to a certain ball. So every week when they arrive, you can almost see them zero in on the nodule ball, or the ball that lights up when you throw it, or they all have their favourites. So some of that equipment can be expensive. We also do some like balancing activities. We have it's called a pitch it up. It's a bowling piece of equipment that bowls to the children. But the reason it's unique is you can actually take it off the stand and put it on the ground, and it shoots the balls on the ground. So then the children can practice their fielding skills. So they can run after a ball, pick it up, and then throw it towards the stumps, for example. So that might be one of the activities we do. So we've got lots of different things to ensure that each week's not the same. We want it to be engaging and different. We, instead of throwing balls at stumps, because, stumps are a bit boring, we actually have these big inflatables that George found, and one of them's got Michael Clark on the front. Another one's got Shane Warne on the front, and they stand about, about 1.5 meters high. So the children then practice throwing, but they need to hit the inflatable instead of a set of stumps. And if they hit it in the right spot, it kind of tilts over and then bounces back. So there's lots of different. They love it, right? Even the older kids. They've bowled out Warnie and tipped him over, so they were very happy about that. So there's lots of different things that we buy so that every week the activities are a little bit different and fun.
That's brilliant. No, and I love the way you've been thinking, and it must be just growing over the years, isn't it? Going, how can we make this more interactive, more fun? Finding these big blow-ups are really cool. We've put the tent in and got these different games and equipment. So it sounds like a big community effort to make it all happen.
It is, and it's really, I think we're one of the very few cricket clubs in Queensland that is affiliated. Well, we're the only one that's affiliated with Special Olympics, and the one where all our coaches are trained on how to coach in an inclusive environment with children with ASD. So I think that sets us out. Like, my goal would be for every cricket club to be able to do this, because we want to make it more accessible. We have children at the moment coming from Ipswich and Caboolture.
Yes.
Right. That's so you think, wow,
commitment.
That's commitment, and they've been coming a couple of years now, because there's just nothing where they are. So
how far is Caboolture from you? Bit over an hour?
Yeah, a bit over an hour.
Yeah, so they're doing a 2-hour trip.
Yeah, round trip at the end of the week
on Friday
to come and play. But I think that in itself is a testament to the great work that our coaches do, that our sponsors do, that the club in itself, all of our members, our chairman often says to me that it's one of the best things the club has ever done. Now, given that Valleys is the largest cricket club in the country, that's a statement. So
that is a big statement.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Well done. And is there? And how can people find you so they can come along and join in and become a cricket player?
Okay, well, you can go to our website. So www.valleycricket.org.au.
No S, just Valley Cricket.
Valley with no S. Valleycricket.org.au, and you'll see there on the menu all abilities. And then that all abilities page has got lots of information. It's got information on how people can register. So even though we don't charge, we still need the children to register so that they are covered by insurance. And also so that once they've registered, I usually reach out to the parent and have a more in-depth conversation about how we can best support them, because obviously the registration form, otherwise you might be sitting there typing for hours. So once the registration comes in for someone who's new, I'll ring up whoever's listed as the key contact person and just have a conversation to make sure that when that participant rocks up to their first week, that we've really understood a lot more about them and how we can ensure that that first week experience, and every week, to be honest, is really positive and that they feel as comfortable as possible.
That is a big key, isn't it? Because the anxiety levels are very high. Trying something new can be the biggest challenge of anything. So that is probably one of the best parts, is that you're spending the time to understand the player, understand their needs, and how we can get them to come and play cricket. So that must take a lot of time.
It does take a fair bit of time, but you know what? It's absolutely worth it, 100%. Because the last thing we want is, for a child or young adult to show up and for us to be kind of working out, how do we best support them, because then the hour would be over pretty much.
Yeah, so, exactly.
It's just about having that conversation, because we also want the support worker or the parent to feel really comfortable that we do know what we're doing, and that we're very much looking at ways that the experience can be one of enjoyment, so that they want to come back and spend
get those
time.
Big smiles. That's
smiles.
what it's about.
We love big smiles. But just going back to how to contact us, also Instagram. So Instagram, we are all_abilities_cricket. And we also have a Facebook page, which is VDCC, All Abilities Cricket Program.
All Abilities Cricket. All right. I'll see if I can put them in the show notes as little links down the bottom so people can come have a look. Because, we found you on Instagram and I'm like, oh, my God, you're only up the road. What is this? Why have I not heard of this? So I was like, this is fantastic.
And if I can just encourage anyone who's watching, to share the word around what we are doing at Valleys. I think we're now in a position, where we've really set some wonderful foundations, and this season is going to be all about expanding, because I think because there's so little in this space, we really want to spread the word and get more and more children and workers and parents involved.
That's great. Yeah, well, we want to help you do that, and we'll put this on that's why I've got you on for this show, is so we can get more kids out there and just getting them outside, just touching the grass and being out in fresh air instead of cooped up, and that just does so much goodness, And so that's what's brilliant. That's what's absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Oh, yes.
No, I was just going to say we do have all the facilities at Valleys. We have disabled parking, we have access to the fields, disabled bathrooms. We're fully equipped, regardless of the children's needs in that space.
Needs. Yeah, brilliant. So that's all the concerns. You've covered a lot of concerns I think families would have. And so I think too the biggest thing is that they can ring and reach out and talk to you, get on the All Abilities Facebook page or Instagram page and talk to you and get those. It is an anxious thing to when you first start something new, and to
absolutely
know that you can get those questions answered and feel more comfortable so they get that full hour of fun. I think that's the big winner in all of it.
Absolutely, because I've certainly been in that space when Harrison, my son, was younger, always very concerned, or tentative. When he went off and joined a soccer team, it unfortunately didn't last all that long because it just wasn't the right fit for him at the time. But it can be daunting just as much for the parent or carer or support worker, because they're thinking, is this the right thing for this beautiful human to be involved in? And I just hope that this 21 minutes that we've been chatting today gives them some confidence and they feel a bit more at ease about maybe reaching out and having them participate.
Yes, that's brilliant. Well, Kaz, really appreciate your time today, and
Thank
to all
you.
you out there in Community Builders Show land, here's a great opportunity to get players coming in playing cricket, and the environment is set up ready for them so they can feel comfortable and actually have a go, be part of a team, cheer each other on, have someone cheer them on. It just does so many good things for them. It's just fantastic. And that's, when we found you on Instagram, I was like, definitely reaching out straight away. No muck around. So All Abilities Cricket, it's easy to find. You get on Instagram. We'll put it in the show notes for you as well. And Kaz, again, thank you so much for everything, and really hope for a successful season, and look to see hopefully getting a Special Olympics team together in the future where you can take them into the Special Olympics. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Cool is that. That's our goal. Next 3 years.
3 years.
Yes, that's the challenge.
Well done. So that's brilliant. Well, thank you for your time, and I wish you good health, and take care.
Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries.